Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Zeiram 2, a Japanese science fiction action movie from 1994 that was directed by Keita Amemiya. Now, I recently reviewed Zeiram, the first film in this franchise, from the same director, which I highly recommended, so I figured that the sequel also deserves a review. Upon successfully completing another important mission, the beautiful intergalactic bounty hunter Iria returns to Earth. Along with her supercomputer Bob and her new assistant Fujicrow, they head to a simulated combat area to fight with a high-performance robot dispatched by the authorities. Unfortunately, residing inside of this robot is the most cunning and evil combat life form known in the universe, a vicious Zeiram unit. Now, when the robot is damaged during combat, Zeiram emerges from hiding and begins to terrorize Iria and her comrades, and soon becomes a serious threat that must be stopped at all costs. So this movie begins with Zeiram destroying a handful of androids in the middle of the desert. We even get a steampunk vehicle as a bonus. Now, if you've seen the first film, you will know what to expect from this sequel. The filmmakers are not trying to reinvent the wheel with this movie. In fact, they basically copy the structure of the first film. But they change a few things to be different. So the locales mix in some new forest environments this time, at least within the zone. But there are also some urban locales as well. A few more characters are introduced, like Iria's shady partner, who throws a monkey wrench into things. And Zeiram itself has a different monster design. And Iria's character design is a little bit different in terms of her, her outfit and hair. And there's also a theme that's infused into the movie that really helps to distinguish it from its predecessor, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, the retractable alien core of the Zeiram monster, which used to be in its forehead area, is now in its chest, and it makes a few very memorable appearances. The action set pieces are frequent and sometimes innovative, and the lead actress, Yuko Moriyama, returns and is very charming in the lead role. The first fight between our protagonist and the monster is right around the 40-minute mark. It's a good, solid, one-on-one duel that kind of rivals the first fight in its predecessor. Then there are some, attacks and abilities that are new in this installment. So, for example, the monster has this new projectile that shoots out, and it looks like a giant metal wasp insect, made of metal. And it flies around and it attaches itself to its target and then explodes like a bomb. So there's some pretty cool new abilities in this. We get a few more scenes with the bumbling electricians who show up again. They get roped into this conflict and are stalked by the monster at times, which is again a callback to the first film. Now, one criticism I would make of this film is that the finale of Zeiram 2 is not as multifaceted or satisfying as the first movie. So that's one of the flaws that I would say regarding this. It's still a good ending, but it's not as good as the first one. Special effects are pretty neat. The music is unique and catchy, a bit different from the first film. They add a few little different beats in there. And I like the technology design again. You know, it's kind of like a high-tech, low-tech, if that makes any sense. It's futuristic, but it feels like it's low-tech from the future. There are some neat monster designs, as I mentioned. And then there's also a crazy, resurrection scene involving a dog mutant monster. So when you see that scene, you'll be shaking your head. And it makes this movie memorable. That scene's a memorable scene. So, yeah. And I would say, the little head that's on Zeiram's body, it's even better animated this time. It's animatronic physical effect. And, the way it moves its eyebrows and everything is really creepy and pretty cool. Cool stuff. Now, I previously mentioned a theme to this movie, which I can't tell you because it's kind of a spoiler. You may not even know the themes in the movie. But pay attention to the last line of dialogue in the film that's spoken at the very end before the end credits. And then think about what you witnessed throughout the movie. And what our protagonist says for her final line is literally true. So they actually structured the entire film as a setup for that final gotcha dialogue moment. And it's kind of subtle, so you may not even recognize it the first time you see the film. But I thought it was a really cool little, I don't know what you would call it, just a theme, an underlying theme. It has almost nothing to do with like the main plot, but I don't think you're going to see it coming. And I thought that attention to detail was really commendable in this movie. And again, it really distinguishes it from the first movie. Yeah, even though the overall plot and plot beats are very similar between the two. So, if you watched Zeiram, and you really should, and if you enjoyed it, which you probably will, I think you should check out the sequel. I think it's maybe a slight step down from the original, mostly because the finale is not as multifaceted and kind of exciting. But these make a very good double feature evening, and so definitely check them out. This one's currently available streaming on Amazon, and it recently got a nice Blu-ray release as well. So, as always, we will see you next time.